While 2016 will go down in history for horrifying election results and distressing celebrity purges, it's also been home to two games the world was sure it would never ever see. The first, Final Fantasy XV, finally made its way to store shelves after a decade of development hell in November. The other, a spiritual successor to cult classics Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, the long-revered, highly anticipated platform exclusive The Last Guardian, a game that was first conceptualized way back in 2007. Immediately, their release begs the question, how can either game possibly live up to expectation? And the answer is, realistically, they just can't. Nothing could. At this point, people have their own established idea what the game should be through the trailers, the artwork, inspired mechanics and snippets of story. They have played the game out thousands of times in their head, and the finished result will not compare for better or for worse. And you know what? That's okay, because these games should be judged on what they are, not what they've been conceptualized to be. Development has twisted and contorted both for so long that developers have been forced to make changes to suit the rapid growth of the industry. Mechanics that would have first been dreamt up as part of the original concept became so dated that they'd been left on the chopping block. Same goes for story, animation, music, effects, environment, characters. It has been a process, and a long one at that. But what has remained consistent about The Last Guardian is the relationship between Trico, the swan-like dog-bird creature, and the young boy. This creature has instilled fear and inspired legend, yet he shows a softer sentimental side in wake of an unexpected kindness when at its most vulnerable. The pair bring out the best in one another, and their strength soars as their unity grows. The Last Guardian is recounted in autobiographical form by the boy when he becomes a man, comparable to the stuff of legend he had grown up around. During the adventure, players will leap between crumbling pillars, they'll skirt along craggy rock faces, and they'll shoot lightning bolts out of Trico's arse. But that's while feeding barrels to the beast, presumably because he prefers the ceiling wood to its contents. For real. Thing is, Trico is the most adorable klutz you'll ever meet, and while you've probably heard many stories about The Last Guardian's ropey presentation, the bumbling buffoon's japes beautifully complement the overall package. On one occasion, I just completed a relatively tough climbing section. I died a few times, partly because I didn't know the way to go and partly because I'd messed up the controls. Slight frustration aside, I eventually made it to a safe haven and was able to progress the story. But by the time the sweet feeling of relief came over me, Trico came out of nowhere and knocked me flat on my face just so we could squeeze into the same spot. I hadn't seen him for ages and the shock made me belly laugh so much that I fell off the sofa and had to stop playing for a few minutes. It was just another of the game's unintended glitches that added a layer of unpredictability and made it that much easier to fall in love with the beast, even when you're trying to be a bit mad with it. All that said, the frame rate is quite awful at times. The game regularly slows down during busy sections and camera panning quite often becomes sluggish. There are times in The Last Guardian where it's clear to see development didn't start on PlayStation 4 and this game has been chopped up and tossed around quite a bit. Close-up visuals can seem quite pixelated, control responsiveness harkens back to PS2 levels of annoyance, and surprisingly, for a game that's been in development this long, you can see certain sections lack a desired level of polish. Having said all of that, sometimes you'll find yourself openly gawping at the vividness and vibrancy of the scenery, enthralled by this enchanting world which is both unexplainable and a little bit familiar. You'll hunt for every subtle clue and desperately explore every nook and cranny to truly enlighten yourself on context. I can actually recall several occasions where Trico needed to do something to push things forward, but he would either get stuck on a specific path forcing a restart, or he would completely ignore instructions until I either repeated them several times or was stood in the exact spot he needed me to be in. Yeah, about that love and hate relationship. What The Last Guardian has over so many other games though is charm. It has style, it has finesse, quality, there's substance, feeling, it harmonises, synergises and resonates with you on an emotional level which many AAA development studios wish they could obtain. And in its ability to connect with a player, the game has its unique, unrivaled selling point. No doubt we've all waited a very long time for this, and while it may not achieve the lofty heights we'd set for it, there's an appropriateness about The Last Guardian finally rearing its head in 2016. For this is a game which weighs the value of friendship so heavily and toys with the concept of not judging someone or something by their outward appearance and attributes. More than ever, at a time when these basic qualities appear to have been taken for granted on a global scale, we need this game in our lives. In the case of The Last Guardian, I like to believe that these lengthy, arduous delays served a greater purpose, one that I'm actually incredibly grateful for. So to summarise, on the pros side, there is an infectious charm, Trico is the most adorable clutch you'll ever meet, there's a lovely narrative presentation throughout, and it really is difficult to put down from start to finish. On the cons, it does have some frustrating controls and unresponsive AI, there are several technical hitches which can't be ignored, and there is sluggish frame rate and camera panning throughout. But The Last Guardian is a wonderful experience, it's a fantastic platform exclusive, I'm so happy that it's finally released and I think everyone should take the time to experience it if they have a PlayStation 4. For now, thank you very much for watching, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, we'll see you next time.